What is up, brother? How you doing? Oh, wait, hold on. Got to turn the mics on.
Mic on. Turn the mic
Got to
on.
turn the mic on this time. There you go. Mic's turned on.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, man. What's going on, Rich?
Oh, not too much. Just pulling up streams here.
All right. It looks like we are live for sure on Periscope. Waiting to see if anybody's on YouTube. We're also live on DLive. We're also live on Twitch. Let's let me know just if you want to just type a 1 or something. I already know we're live on Periscope. So welcome, everybody. Don't forget to follow, share, subscribe. We can get this show popping. I know the first thing we want to talk about is the Seattle Chaz, then Chop. Now I call it Flop. And the police brought in the mop.
Chop, the crack, heroin, opium place.
Oh my God, it was crazy. So today I was watching all the pressure washers moving in, and they have this big truck that just pressure washes the street. They were cleaning that place up like crazy, man. I didn't see anything. I was taking screenshots, and they cleaned it up fast, man. It was crazy. Now they still got to do the buildings, of course, but.
You mean the protesters didn't clean it up when they leave, make it a better place, keep it?
Oh yeah. And you know what's funny? They call that mess. They call that graffiti street art. I'm like, no, it's not. Tell that to the person who owns that business or their home that you just wrote Black Lives Matter all over. It's not street art to them. It's graffiti and vandalism.
Hey,
which is funny.
Just a heads up. I do not think YouTube's coming up.
No YouTube?
I don't believe so. I don't see Rocky, and if Rocky's not out there, it's well, and it's not showing as being live. So I've circulated it a couple times. You may want to check on that.
All right, I'm
There's a show without Rocky's, a show without sunshine.
That's right. Right now, I'm looking at chat, and it says LeBron calls American Drew Brees a racist. LeBron James, he's just another activist. You know, he's the one who defended China. So right there, I just stopped listening to him. Not that I ever did listen to him.
Right.
And it has nothing to do with the color of his skin. We are not racist on this show. I can guarantee you that. He's just an idiot, and idiots come in all colors.
Yeah, great basketball player, though.
Yeah, he is. He is the king in basketball. You know, I probably can dunk on him when I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
That's about it.
When you're having that dream, yeah.
Right. So. If you were to do like the boost up thing when they did in breakdance to do the backflip, that's about the only way I'm getting up to that rim. I can't even get close to that. I don't know how people. Now, can you touch the rim in basketball or what?
Not anymore. But you
could at one time.
Man, there was a fleeting moment of my life when I could actually graze the bottom of that rim, and that was it.
Yeah,
that was it. On a goal that I knew was actually 10 feet. Now, if you could slide a piece of paper under my feet, you'd be doing good now. So.
Exactly. I could barely get over a jump rope. So right now I'm looking at chat still. That's why I'm looking to the side. I'm not looking at myself like that one weird guy. I won't bring up his name, but he spends the whole show like looking at himself when he talks.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if are you going to try to reboot on YouTube, or are we just calling it quits on YouTube?
I can open up a browser and find out if we're live on YouTube.
No, I mean I have a browser open. We are not live.
Whoa, I hear fireworks. That outside I hope they're fireworks. You never know.
They doxed you. They found out where you're at.
Oh man. Well, they better bring something. So. Yeah, there's a lot of fireworks, and I don't know if your dog freaks out, but my dog freaks out from fireworks. Bad.
Yes, bad. Yeah, 4th of July, we have to turn wind machines, blare the radio. All that dog still knows what's going on. Yeah,
well, I usually put on something that'll like put her to sleep, like a Joe Biden rally. Did you see him like today? Oh my God,
no.
He went live during when President Trump was touring the one place where they make American products and stuff. Oh no, we're live on YouTube. There you go. I see you. Yep. We're live on YouTube. Head change. It's a little blurry. I don't want to put my glasses on.
I must be getting shadow banned on. Oh, there it is. All right, now it's come up.
Oh, so it might have taken a little bit, but yeah, Joe Biden. He tried to come on at the same time the president was coming on. And what a stark difference. You got President Trump talking about America products. We can do this. We're recovering faster than before. And because the numbers on the market today were crazy, right? The job numbers and stuff.
Yeah.
You're big in the market. And he was sitting there going, "Oh, well, don't let this fool you. It's not that good. It's going to get worse." I'm like, "Oh my God." Like the stark difference, the most difference I seen was today. His doom and gloom crap compared to what President Trump was putting out there, which was just facts. It wasn't even like the usual, made up stuff that he he loves to make up.
It,
I'm just kidding.
and it's funny you talked about, me usually tracking the market. Well, things are so bad right now. The reason I couldn't watch the market today is because I had to train up a new employee that I just hired. So
Oh,
yeah, there's so there's the doom and gloom for you. Some people are getting hired. Businesses are
yeah, I
back,
know.
all that
And it's
stuff.
hard to find and train new male strippers. And I know that's the business you're in. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. He's not really in that business.
If I
Uh,
was, it would only be in HR. Trust me.
exactly. Human resource. All right. Just had a Canada Day. My dog sat in the closet the whole time.
Oh,
Nice.
okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
another firework
Yeah.
casualty.
These dogs get skittish, man,
Yeah.
from that stuff. Can
Yeah.
imagine how they felt in Chop, with all that gunfire and stuff going on.
Man, how about that, huh? Oh, I don't know if anybody watched, but the interview with the girl who knew the 14 and 16-year-old, huh?
Right. Oh yeah.
Man,
Well, go ahead.
well, I was just going to say, everything was clicking on all cylinders until she talked about the point that they beat up somebody and took their car, and she was so casual. Well, how did they get the truck? Well, they beat them up and they took it. It's like,
Yeah.
wow.
Right. Well, a lot of people, first of all, are not going to believe her. I tend to believe that we're talking about if you haven't watched it, the broadcast before this one is a girl allegedly who claims she knew the 16-year-old and 14-year-old that was shot, one killed, the 16-year-old inside or right outside Chop. She claims she knew them. She was his street sister, as she puts it.
Right.
Um, and she was saying that they were getting chased. Then they came to her, and she was saying, you you got to get out of here no matter what you're doing. They're like, yeah, we want to leave the street life. So I took all their knives and stuff, and they got in the car. They took a car, and the reporter was like, well, how did they get a car? And she's like, well, they beat somebody up and took it, and then they drove it around, and they
Yeah.
were still being chased. So I told them to head back into Chop, and then the security of Chop shot them and killed them, and she was on the phone with him. If you haven't seen it, definitely go watch it. Some people are not going to believe it. I
I,
tend to believe it, but
yeah,
I think
I
she was
believe it.
covering up some things. I think she was covering up something.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't even think she really covered anything up. I think it's just to her the irony was just natural. She's like, yeah, they beat up the guy, they take the vehicle, then they come up to them and say, "We just want to go home and get out of the thug life." And so she says to them, "Well, if you can't, if you're getting out of thug life, hand me your knives and weapons and stuff." I'm like,
Right.
this is a 14 and 16-year-old. Can we just go back to the fact that a lot of this stuff stems from upbringing? I mean, ultimately, all of us are shaped by the way we were raised, and this is another perfect indication. But the irony of it is just the whole Black Lives Matter movement. These kids would have had a better chance not getting shot if cops had been pursuing them than they did, obviously, in their own Black Lives Matter world. So I just find that irony crazy. But
No, yeah, and you're right. It does come from upbringing. I mean, that is the main problem here that a lot of people don't want to talk about. The breakdown of the family structure. And I'm a Christian, so maybe taking God out of school. And just like no respect for authority. Plus, you're an expert on the whole indoctrination starting in college, but now then it went to high school. Now it's in then to middle school. Now it's actually in elementary school.
right.
The teaching of Marxist and hate your country and hate the flag. And I mean, this is another big part of what people talk about. What we're facing in the street is a direct result of what's going on in colleges, now high schools and grade schools and middle schools.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the protesters have been groomed by liberal colleges, of course, that have taught them that they need to be out there, if nothing else. to assuage their guilt of having white privilege and all the other stuff that they're indoctrinated with. And now that you brought that up, I would like to bring up one point from the last show, because I caught in some messaging some flack when I talked about Margaret Sanger, and there was a lady, and I went back, I couldn't even find the show. I don't know if you if it got buried or whatever, but I went back to try to find her name because I was going to address her. But we were talking about Planned Parenthood, and I was talking about shaking hands with the devil in these Planned Parenthood sites. You know, Margaret Sanger, who was the founder of Planned Parenthood, I talked about the fact that she spoke at KKK women's groups, that maybe she doesn't have the best interest of the inner city blacks in her mind. She was a self-proclaimed eugenics, and for anybody who doesn't know what that means, it's simply it's basically a race that's more desirable by weeding out people that are less desirable. Okay, and one of the things,
sounds like what Hitler was doing.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, if you read Mein Kampf, which is the socialist Bible, yeah, I mean, it is kind of like that. But in 1932, she wrote "My Way to Peace." And for those who thought I was just bashing Planned Parenthood and just talking junk about Margaret Sanger, I just want to read a quick thing about that, the actual speech she gave. This is the person. Now, just keep in mind now, 50% of black pregnancies in the inner city end in abortion, okay? Thank God Martin Luther King, some of the other, spectacular black activists that actually came out of it weren't part of that. But this is what she actually, in her speech that she gave. It says the first class of persons targeted for sterilization is made up of people with mental and physical disability. The first step would be to control the intake and output of morons, mental defectives, and epileptics. A much larger class of undesirables would be forced to choose either sterilization or placement in state work camps. The second step would be to take an inventory of the second group, such as illiterates, paupers, unemployables, criminals, prostitutes, dope fiends, classify them in special departments under government medical protection, and segregate them on farms to open up space or to open spaces. Those segregated in these camps would return to mainstream society if they underwent sterilization and demonstrate a good behavior. And so her estimates were that this would basically get 15 to 20 million would be targeted in this regime to force sterilization. So I ask you, is a woman who has this, and this isn't, I mean, you can go look up My Way to Peace, 1932, Margaret Sanger. It is there. So just be careful what you want. And the other thing that I just wanted to take a quick exception at is she made the comment when I talked about Margaret Sanger and the fact that, maybe this is a lady that called blacks human weeds. She brought up, and I wish I knew who she was. She said, ask the gentleman, who I'm assuming me because I was the only one talking. She said, ask the gentleman how he plans to take care of all these births. And I was thinking about it. I love that argument because here's the thing. If we're going to start extinguishing life based on the inability to support and feed itself, then this lady who asked me that question, she would be advocating for the extermination of people now that are born and have proven they cannot feed and take care of themselves. Would she not? Following her logic, why wait until they get to the grave? I mean, if you're going to extinguish the life of somebody who hasn't even had a chance to prove they can do it, why don't we take the ones who've proven they can't and start extinguishing them by her logic? So
anyway, I don't remember her. I don't remember her.
You don't?
In the comment? No, I don't remember her name. I don't
remember her name in the comment. And I mean, it doesn't matter her name. She wasn't being disrespectful. She simply asked, and I know the position that she's doing. But these are the things that, when you cheapen life, when you make it that, and obviously we can argue as far as abortions, rape, incest, stuff like that. Obviously there's things that are gray areas, I would have to even admit. But the gist of it is, if you cheapen life, then it has no value. So a lot of times when people do have, and this goes, well, actually, we won't even get into that. We'll get into another thing because me, I'm not really looking to do that. But the gist of it is, be careful who you shake hands with and who you support, and find out what their ulterior motives are, because they might not have your best interest as a person or as a race in their heart. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say on Margaret
Right.
Sanger, 1932. Okay.
Absolutely. That's like these people that are marching in the Black Lives Matter movement. Find out who's behind it. I mean, they're
Yep.
like, if we don't get our way, we want total destruction. You know, Soros is behind this, moveon.org. You
Yep.
know, this is all just a fundraiser for the Democrat Party. That's all it is, a Marxist movement of the destruction of America because, you know, we're racist and we're guilty because we're white and they hate our flag. And they'll sit there and they'll march. You know, half of them don't know why. Maybe some of them are paid, maybe all of them, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you see 90% of them white. I mean, this isn't about Black Lives Matter and police reform. We all know that. All right. So quickly in chat, there was Laney asked about my the biopsy. If you guys don't know, by the way, I'm Jake and that's Rich. I got a biopsy a week ago, spot on my face. It's probably hard to make out, but I had a Band-Aid on it for a week now.
All right.
But I have not got the results back. I will. And I was quite shocked when I took the Band-Aid off and I was like, oh my God, that's the biopsy? I hate to see the surgery. I was like, and I'm not good with blood and stuff. I was like, whoa. I started getting dizzy. I'm like, my God, that's a hole in my face. You can't really see it because of my camera's not that great, which kind of works out pretty good. But it's right there. And I'm not going to get close to the camera and freak you guys out. Also, somebody was talking about how hard it is to get ammo right now, 9mm ammo. That was Mod at the Graph.
You know
and
what?
it was somebody else. Go ahead. I'm going to let you speak on ammo.
I was just going to say, you had 2 elections that you could have stockpiled. I don't know why anybody doesn't have ammo right now. I mean,
right.
We had the threat of Hillary that was coming on board, and then you had Obama. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You should have ammo. It being hard to get shouldn't even be an issue right now. But if you didn't, you can become a reloader. The equipment isn't that expensive and fairly easy to do.
That is true. You make your own safely and make sure you have your gun legally. And then somebody else on Twitch, I'm sorry that I ignored I'm not ignoring chat. Sometimes we get on a discussion, I'm watching chat. That's why I'm looking to the left. Did they do a punch biopsy?
Yes, if the casings load your own, that's right.
I don't know what a punch biopsy is, but I wanted to punch it because it hurt. If that's what you mean.
Yeah, it's a little plunger. It's a little plunger thing, and it just like a tube. And
I didn't look when I seen her holding 2 things. I was like, "What is that? The needles?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, so how about them Giants? What do you think this year?" I like just change it because I was like, I don't want to know. I don't know. Have no idea about what kind of biopsy. I'm just waiting on the results.
Right.
So you guys pray for me, please. I'm sure it's fine. It's fine. And even if it was the worst kind of cancer, then I will beat it. I know I can. So the next person on Twitch, there was only one person on Twitch, and he's probably gone, or she, asked about do I think I'm laughing. Do I think that there was microchips being put into the vaccine that Bill Gates is putting out? I think that was his chat. I'd have to go back and look. Something like that. No, I'm not big on vaccines. We got to be careful talking about vaccines on this show because we're on YouTube, but whatever. Yes. I never took a vaccine before, ever in my life. So I don't really, not the right person to talk, but I'm pretty sure there's not going to be microchips in it.
Yeah. And I would just be interested, microchips in, it's interesting because when we talk about if they were to push this to the ultimate where they're trying to shut down the government and, you can't buy or sell unless you have a chip, unless you've been tested.
Oh yeah. The mark of the beast.
Hey, you know what? Everybody's talking about, well, you know what if the whole end game here is that you can't buy or sell, meaning get food or anything unless you have it to show that you have antibodies and you won't go out and spread the virus and all this. I don't think it actually comes to that. I don't think that they actually need that at this point. Right. Ultimately, I think that the third party doctrine back in the day, what was it, 1970 something? Smith versus Maryland did that for you. Do you know that story, by the way, Jake?
Say it again.
The third party doctrine, the thing that gave way to the Supreme Court decision between Smith versus Maryland.
No.
Okay. Just to let you know why your cell phone has become your worst enemy. All right. And third party apps and why they have so many permissions and why they can get away with doing it. So back during this court case, there was this guy, Smith, creepy dude. He was tracking down some girl, heavy breathing on the phone, that sort of thing. So she called the cops. She filed a report. Well, one day she sees him driving by. And so she gets the license plate and she goes ahead and she calls the cops, says, hey, I got the license plate number of this guy. They run it. They get the address. The cops go to the phone company and they ask them who has this phone number, what the guy's name is, match it up with the address and figure it out. It's him. When it gets to court, his attorneys say, well, you know what? You can't really use that as evidence because you didn't have a subpoena to actually get the information.
Right.
Okay, long drawn out after that. But basically what the ruling was in the Supreme Court was, because it was a third party, because he had no reason to expect privacy, because he was using the PIN register system of the phone company.
Wow.
They didn't have to have a warrant. It was up to the company that had a PIN register, which in this case was the phone company, to decide if they freely wanted to give that information to the police. Vis-a-vis wow. And so now the law enforcement has extrapolated that to say that they have the right to go to any third party and collect information from them rather than having to get it from the person that they're trying to arrest or do research on or whatever. That's why on your phone you have all those permissions that you give to it and you allow them.
And nobody reads it. They're just like, I need this app, so I just like, yes, agree, yes, agree.
Yeah, allowed permissions, camera, right. Everything. So anyway, you can blame all the lack of our own ability to limit the collection of data on us on the third party doctrine and that court case. Smith versus Maryland. Sorry, went on with that useless piece of information, but
no, it's important. I'm sure there are a lot of people that will read it and probably don't agree to it. There's like probably 10 people. Everybody else just signs on. All right, they should already have enough ammo. Oh, they're still talking about ammo. Use of a pen register was not researched in the meaning of
right.
the Fourth Amendment.
Exactly. Right. What he's talking about is within the Fourth Amendment, which was the fact of being secure in your privacy. You had no expectation of privacy because you were using the PIN register. So.
Right, that's Victoria H. Welcome
way to go,
everybody
Victoria.
in chat.
Good job. She knows her.
Oh, we have very smart viewers.
Oh, I love it.
And they help me all through the night, man. And Rich, he's like, every morning he is like, I cannot believe you just went to bed. And if it wasn't for them, keeping me straight, like, hey, Jake, you have Portland when it's Seattle, or hey, you didn't put the credit up of the video, or hey, this one's right now they're going crazy in Atlanta. I mean, they help so much, man, and I appreciate you guys for that. It's crazy what we go through at night and what we view. I mean, we really haven't missed anything, bro, as you know. And my viewers know. It's just, I've had this ever since I started this for 4 years ago. I have this crazy knack to know when something's coming, when to check my phone, when to check alerts, and it might be grainy as hell. That's another thing. They must enjoy the show and the free speech, because I have to downgrade my video so bad just so it doesn't freeze up, and it still freezes up to where, I mean, it is so pixelated, but they still hang in there. But we see it all. There's not much that we miss, man.
Yeah,
people were like, oh, it's quiet. And I'm like, hold on, don't say that. And 2 minutes later, they're using real CS gas and it's getting crazy, bro.
It's that sixth sense. It would be as if you were there and you're just aware of your surroundings and you just got that inkling that it's going on.
Yeah.
I guess she's talking about if you've moved to get some better internet yet.
Oh, yeah. Robbie James, did I move yet? Oh, no, he might be talking to Elaine. I believe she's moving to the mountains. Like most people are. They're like, I'm out of here. Man. Good luck with the move. I just watched for the chopper. Yeah, they love the Trump chopper. That's how I get rid of a lot of the trolls. As soon as they see that, they're like, oh, forget it.
Yeah, we know where he's at.
Yeah, I like the people that come on and they go, where is this? Portland? It says it on the screen. Is this live? Yes, it says live. And people are start like saying in the chat, yes, it's live, and they're like, no, it's not. It's not daytime there. I'm like, oh my God.
That is one of the problems. And I noticed when you watch reruns on ESPN Golf, because it says live because it's on the screen. So it's always going to say live on the screen. So yeah, that's kind of, they should have some way to block that out after the broadcast is over, like have it on there and then take it off afterwards. But So yeah, so what else you got?
What else I got is just Portland, like we were talking about. They're still going crazy over there. They got gassed bad, man, for the first time, and it wiped out like half of them got arrested, the streamers, and the other half couldn't even breathe so bad. So we were all searching for the same stream. Now there's this one guy, Sean somebody. He does like the multi-screen thing, like I do, the multi-screen thing.
Okay.
Well, the Seattle Police Department put together this video of all the like crimes and shootings and all that stuff footage. Well, they used his footage and they didn't ask for permission and they didn't credit who the video was for. And I always put the credit up there. But I was thinking, and he submitted a copyright thing, and they actually had to take the video down, the police department, and he kind of left. So everybody was like, "Oh, if you weren't leaning to the left, you wouldn't have cared." And he was like, "Oh, well, they're putting me at risk because they're gonna put out this false thing like I backed the police." That's what he said, something like that. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, so that's it. You wanted to take it down because you don't want people to think you backed the police." Meanwhile, his show is putting up multi screens of other people's videos while they're live. Like I now he does write the credit, but you're going after a copyright thing, but you don't ask their permission. You just put their video up there and you put the credit there, which should cover you under the Fair Use Act, but you can only show it for so much time for educational purposes. But dude, you're putting in copyright claims when you're using other people's footage as it's live. You didn't ask them, as far as I know. He didn't ask them.
Yep.
Sean Gull or whatever, right? MP. See, my people, man, they're on it. They know. They'll tell me who's live and who's a jerk. We have Banana Boy that goes live from Concrete Reporting, which is the perfect name for them because half the time they're filming the concrete. Because as you know, these people get mad when you you like that, right?
Yeah, I like that.
They get mad when you film their faces. Meanwhile, they have masks on and you're out in public. So, but they're like, "Oh, it's so tolerant and peaceful here. But if you dare put your camera up, you got like 5 guys coming over. Who are you? Who are you?" Which happened to me when I was live on scene at the Parkland shooting. They were like, "Who are you with?" And I was like, "Total News Network." And they're like, "Oh, where can I find your page?" I'm like, Total News Network, search it. Where are you at? I'm on YouTube and everything. And they sat right there with their phone to see what I was.
Well, it's like that.
I was like,
it's like that.
I'm independent. I lean a little to the right.
Yeah, it's like that young blonde girl who was there interviewing, and that other girl got all up in her face. Where she went up to the black gentleman that was up at the table, was talking to him, and she comes over, storming up to that blonde girl. Is you know which one I'm talking about? The one that was doing the news reporting.
Say it again. I was reading chat.
The blonde girl who was doing the news reporting, and she was there, and she went up to the black gentleman at the table, was talking to him, and this girl just comes yelling up, "Hey, what are you doing? Get the camera out!" It was it was 3 o'clock in the morning. You may have dozed off. I don't know, but
was that in the city in New York?
Yes.
Yeah, that was in Occupy. Yeah, I know. She was crazy. She was annoying as hell though.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh my god, like that." Yeah, that one white girl.
Yeah.
But she was crazy when a guy came up to her after that. First, it was a girl that came up to her. The guy came up and he's like, "Who are you?" And he was like sticking his phone in her face. She had her husband with her, and she was like, "Get away from me, you nut job!" And I'm like, "Oh my god, here's this white girl, like white, like Valley girl," and I'm like, "This ain't gonna go good." But turned out it was okay. And she kept like putting the camera on herself and flipping her hair the whole time, and like I was like, "Wow." I don't know how she didn't get jumped just because she said something to somebody,
Somebody somebody had in that chat that they were saying still black and the blue when they arrest you for wearing a mask, and it said because I'm not. Did you see that one?
No.
So yeah, still black, still going to back the blue, still going to back him. I mean,
yes, I definitely back the blue. This show, I could speak for Rich. We definitely are pro law enforcement, anti racism, anti. I don't know how to say this. Jerk cops. There are plenty of them, but there are also jerk trash guys and jerk mechanics and jerk firemen, and I mean, so
yeah,
that for sure.
Thanks. That's one of the things I was going to say too, to tie two things in together. I think two of the biggest issues, and we had talked about this off camera at one point, was two of the big issues that black people, when we talk about reform that might help them. Two things. Number one, go ahead and get rid of the police unions. All right, that do, I believe, a lot of times hide bad cops behind the union because they just do. I mean, you talk
Well,
about
unions, yeah, I'd never liked unions. I mean, they have a big problem with that here in Florida.
yeah,
And
and
I know somebody that knows a lot of the teachers, and they say, I love being in a union. There's basically nothing I can do where I'll get fired. I'm like, this is
exactly.
just not good.
Yeah, I can't do it. So I think one would be get rid of the unions. The other thing would be, I think the blacks would be better served by going after the teachers unions that actually hide bad teachers. And I love teachers. I got nothing to say bad about them. Elementary school through college, loved them, loved a lot of them. There are bad teachers out there. There are teachers that are not there motivated by the right reasons. A lot of times, just like any employee in any company that's there just collecting a paycheck and really not, engaged. And these are in all school systems, but I think especially in the inner city schools, because if you look at it in the inner cities, the school boards, you can't just say it's a money issue because there's a disproportionate amount of money that goes to these schools. Some of the inner city schools actually get up to, as far as if you look at per child, $15,000 a year per child, which far outpaces a lot of other schools systems as far as how much they put towards a child's education. And most of the school boards in these black systems are all black. Okay, now obviously they're elected to the school board, but then they have the unions that are protecting these teachers. And maybe because they're hard to find and need to work in those school systems, I don't know. But I think those unions as well. I'm not a big fan of unions anyway. Just for the simple reason you described. There's too much cronyism and protectionism that goes into it, more so than just the job. I mean, employers are going to look out for each other. You can say police look out for each other, but police looking out for each other is not the same as having a bad cop being protected by the union because it's a union and you pay your dues and all that. So, yeah. So
absolutely. And that's, more down to the breakdown of the family structure within the last, 30 years or more, probably more. The breakdown of the school system, I mean, I think there's like one teacher for like 30 something students or something in some schools.
right.
Like, I mean, you're not gonna teach a kid like that,
Yeah.
and the parents ain't there to make sure they're learning.
Yes.
This is where it all stems. And then definitely need more money into mental health, but the idea is to not take money away from the police to do it. I mean, they just agreed, de Blasio and Cuomo. Thank you for the super hearts. Thank you very much, Laney. They just agreed. They bow down to mob rule again, to defund the police by $1 billion. So those people camping out in the park, which I call Little Misfit Island, mob rule has been winning in 2020, and they bowed down. And then people were like, oh, like AOC put out a tweet: defunding is not taking away $1 billion. Defunding is defunding.
Right.
So she's one of these extremists. Now you better point out that she is going to be an advisor to Biden if he wins.
Oh yeah.
Which I really hope he doesn't. But let's pretend, just so everybody gets out and vote, that Trump's gonna lose and Biden's way ahead. So you need to bring 2 other people with you when you go to vote. If they have never voted, make sure they register.
Yeah, make sure.
But you do not go alone to vote. Make sure you bring people to vote for sure.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. I number one, I cannot read Periscope as far as the names because it's a little gray and I'm old and my eyes are shot. But a couple things that I did see about the police that will follow unconstitutional orders. Absolutely, big time problem with that. There's an oath to uphold the Constitution, and yes, if I obviously have a huge issue with them as far as if they're following unconstitutional orders. The other thing is, you bring up a good point. The police deal with a lot, okay? And we talked about the fact that a lot of them are ex-military. God knows we love the military. But they're 2 totally different types of mentalities and trainings that go into this. With the stuff they deal with, like this, how many cops right now could stand to have have a meeting with a counselor. They've been standing in a line with people up in their face, screaming obscenities at them, throwing things at them. I'm surprised they all haven't walked out of the job and said, you know what, guys, have at it. This whole town's yours. I'm going to go and do something much more.
And knowing the politicians don't have their back and are taking away the tools they need to. The
citizens really don't have a show of having their back. You know, obviously in shows like this we talk about it, but it's not like they're in front of the cops, you know. So how many of them really could have some therapy time and say, listen, you know, I joined to be a cop to make a difference, and this is what I'm feeling now. So yeah, psych evaluations, not only just because of this, but maybe once every 6 months. Hey, you know, John, how you doing? How you feeling? You know, I know you saw that double murder or that child, you know, rape scene that you were at, that you had to go to. These things that really can, they'd mess with my mind. So yeah, so I think,
there was a one cop, Rich, that she was a woman and she had a breakdown over having to wait for her McMuffin or something. It was at McDonald's, and she filmed herself, and people were like making fun of her. But it wasn't about that she had to wait. She was having a breakdown over the stress of being a police officer and just being looked at like a piece of crap and nobody having your back.
right.
Clearly, it wasn't about the wait time for the Big Mac, and everybody's like, "Oh my God!" Like, imagine being choked in a street and you're crying about having to wait for a Big Mac. That's where we're at right now. And the problem right now is, I put a tweet out today because somebody on Fox and Friends said it. I forget his name. Is a colored gentleman. He had said it's no longer a risk to be anti-American or anti-police. It's a risk to say you love the police and love America. Yeah. Something like that. I worded it better on Twitter. But, you know, there's so many people right now that wouldn't dare say they don't agree with Black Lives Matter, the organization, not that Black Lives Matter, because they do. But they don't agree with the organization. They wouldn't dare say it. They wouldn't dare say they're disgusted by the way the police. It is bad right now. It is like hunting season on anybody who says they love America or love the police. Man.
Yeah, I can't say it. And this is a perfect example. I'll show you this. I don't know if it's going to show up, but I'll show it up here. This is a guy who doesn't live that far away. Super nice guy. He's always had his little American flag out there.
Yeah,
and,
I see it.
And this is on the side of the road. Someone tried to burn it down. And, you know, this is a guy flying an American flag. And this is the tolerance that these people have.
Well, you see what happened when they tried to bring a flag into CHOP. Meanwhile, they're telling you how tolerant and peaceful it is. Yeah, because they're all left-wing people in there. Right. And the streamers, clearly, if you hear them talk, and some people come on when I'm showing the stream, and they're like, "Oh, this guy's an idiot." And my people, I have asked them in chat if anybody thinks that I'm the guy speaking on camera, please help me correct them and say I'm not Banana Boy talking about all the crap they talk. So of course they're tolerant and peaceful when you're a left-wing anarchist, you know what I mean, or a liberal. You go in there with a Trump shirt on, forget it. You go in there with American flag like the guy did and the woman did the one day inside when it was still called Chaz, and they ran them out of there. They stole her flag. I mean, these are not tolerant people. They are not. They claim they are. They're not.
They're not. Somebody made the comment, I bet no one would try that on my land. You know, and that's true. Because it is a little bit of cowardice. This is something the guy has right on the edge of his property, you know, on his tree, near his mailbox and stuff like that. Yeah, I do know this gentleman. Had someone come up on his land and set his little American flag on fire, it wouldn't have been a good day for those people. So, yeah, you're right. It's cowardice in a lot of respects, the way they do it. And the only reason they do what they do in CHOP is because it is a circle where they're all the same. They would not behave the same if it was, you know, three of them in a group of, let's say, Second Amendment protesters. They're not going to do the same thing. Or
look, I mean, that was proven.
Huh? Oh yeah,
that was proven in Virginia when you know, thousands of patriots showed up armed. Not one incident, not one fight, no vandalism, and cleaned up when they left. Where was Antifa?
Yeah.
Where was BLM protesters? Nowhere to be found. Oh. They know where they can go and start crap with people, and they know where they can't.
That's
you know?
right. That's right. And if you want to burn a flag, obviously, you know, you can in this country. You should be thankful that you can in this country.
Right.
But you don't have the right to take someone else's personal property and do it. Go buy your
No.
own. Go get a job. Buy your own flag. If you feel a proclivity to go ahead and burn it, do it then. You know.
Yeah, I mean, and now they want to tear down statues and change the names of what you call it, change the names of military bases.
Yeah.
And Mitch McConnell is trying to get Trump, President Trump. I hate when they just say Trump. It's President Trump, whether you like it or not. Trying to get him to go along with this and sign it. And President Trump's like, no, I'm not signing it.
Yeah.
And Mitch McConnell's like, come on. So as great things as Mitch McConnell has done, you got to watch out for these never Trumper Republicans. To me, they're more dangerous than the Democrats because at least the Democrats are telling you
Right.
what they are and that they hate Trump. These guys that hated Trump, now they're like, oh, yeah, Trump. They'll sell him out in a minute. We all know that. So, what else?
I'm just looking at some chat here, just trying to.
Yeah, we're trying to follow up on chat too. Let's see. Oh, cheers, by the way. I'm having my Captain and Coke, and Rich is having his water probably.
And lemon. And lemon.
Water and lemon. There you go.
And a tart lemon too. This ain't no like limp lemon. This is like really tart.
Nah, now you're making my cheeks stick together.
And a green tea bag too. There's a green tea bag. Dude, I had to hydrate. I know how hot it is down where you're at. I think I sweated through 3 shirts today. It's like 90 degrees, 90% humidity. It's been brutal. And if I didn't drink water tonight, I'd be like on the floor.
Right. So that the next thing in the title, we covered Seattle, Chop, Chaz, Flop, whatever you call it, and now Portland. And then we covered Back to Blue. God bless our police officers and the families. I know there are several people that watch this show. The families. Can you imagine being the wife of a
the kid,
law officer, or the kid,
yeah,
or
the
a kid of a law enforcement? So God bless you to who has to sit there and worry that they're just becoming targets, and listening to the mayor and governor of New York talking about how they can't stand them basically. And when they wanted masks, the one health person in New York was like, I don't give a crap about you cops. And he kept her. I mean, how does that make a cop feel? Never mind, how does that make the spouse, a wife or a husband of a police officer or a kid? So God bless you people. It's just like somebody who serves in the military. The whole family serves, not just, not just the person, and the sacrifice they make is greater than probably I'd be able to do,
Yeah, I actually think it's a blessing kids are out of school right now because, what about occupation day where you used to take your dad or mom to school? Hey, this is what they do. You take it, and what kid wants to, yeah, my mom or dad is an officer. Ooh, your mom or dad, they're a killer. I mean, kids are cruel. I mean, let's face it, they are. And
yes.
And to hear that, of course, I'm sure they're going to try to shelter them from it, but man, that would hurt me as a dad if that was my job and this is my kids' thoughts about me. Not my kids' thoughts, but that's what they're trying to be indoctrinated with, is that your dad should quit being an officer. And that'd be rough. So yeah, stay strong.
But
and if
Robbie James was saying it looks like we're sitting together. Yes, that's the magic of television
in
or
Tahiti.
The internet.
In Tahiti.
In Tahiti, yes. And I even got my beach chair.
Yeah, I pushed this one out on the sand. It's a little hard with these plastic rollers, but yeah, I went ahead.
So what happens if I move my green screen? Gets all messed up, right?
No, now it does. Go ahead, pull back the current. What do you got? I want to see your drum set.
Oh, there's my light switch. Oh my. There you go. The magic of television.
So yeah, that's about all I had. I wish I'd go back and what we ought to do? Why don't we put chat up on the main screen? That way I can go ahead and have it be there between us, and that way I could go ahead and read it looking directly instead of looking this way and look like I'm ignoring the people chatting.
Yeah, well, another thing. Go ahead.
Because I'm actually trying to engender them, but yeah.
So I usually, when I go live at night, if I don't have 2 screens going, I put up chat because some people have the same problem I have. And I can't see chat on my Android phone. And This is my second phone. I'll type something and chat and the hearts will go completely away on Periscope. And I'm like, did anybody even see what I wrote? And then I can't see it. I'll have to back out, come back in. It's crazy. So I usually put it on the screen.
Right.
and then people will see what YouTube's writing, or
Right.
the one person that's watching on Twitch. Hi, Ma. I'm just kidding. And the one person on D Live,
That's funny.
uh, that's probably my ex stalker girlfriend. Hi, on D Live. You're not supposed to be watching me. There's a restraining order. I'm just kidding. So there's that. So I put the chat on the screen because I don't know why it just goes away, man. It's crazy. We're using OBS.
Yes, we are
Yes.
using OBS. Yes, and
Yes, which is a free software.
yes, it is free, and
And
it's
Restream to go on multiple
Restream.
platforms.
Yeah, Restream.io to go on multiple platforms, and yeah, OBS really works well. It's not that hard to use. I encourage everybody who wants to get whatever opinion they have of anything, go ahead, grab it, put it out there. It's really not that hard.
Yeah, I'm glad you're saying that, because I usually say in my show that OBS is a free software, and if you want to learn how, you can send us a message on Vantage Point USA or myself at just Jake357 on Twitter, and I can help you walk through. There's also all kinds of videos, and it's not just to do news like this. You can, if you're into cooking, or if you're a preacher, or you're into guns, it's just a good thing to learn how to broadcast. And
Yes.
forever I did it without a green screen, so you don't need a green screen. You don't even need to go on camera, but it's just good to bring up articles. And it's, there's two ways to go live. You can hold the camera at your face, or, at a park, or you can use the producer section on Periscope. And then you're going to need like a software like OBS.
Yeah, and I'm going to
So,
tell you something going forward in the society and down the road, these tools will be invaluable as news
yeah.
networks, as cables go away, as the liberal press just ramps up. You're not going to be able to depend on a few broadcasts to get the word out. You're going to have tens of thousands of little micro broadcasts getting out of there. Because let's face it, this election coming down, where's the debate? I have not seen one debate yet. Joe Biden, get him on a stage. I want American people to see the goods that they get before they buy it. And my concern is that's not going to happen. These people are insulating him. They're only pulling the curtain back a couple times, and if he starts foundering, they pull the curtain back again so you don't see him. And
well, that's funny you said that, Rich. 2 days ago, he actually did, talking about how he would, would have stopped this. And these people have no shame. He's talking about how Donald Trump failed with the coronavirus and what he would have did. And Donald Trump didn't do nothing, and he waited too long. He was against him closing down the flights from China and everything he did. You had politicians saying, go out, it's fine, no problem. So then then it was come down time to questions, and he's like, all right, it's time for questions. Okay, so they prepared a list for me. That's how out of it he is, bro. He just said what every politician would never say, but it's already known. Right. He's like looking down his list. He's like, all right, I'm going to take questions. They prepared a list for me. So they said I could call on, you from CNN. Go ahead and ask that question about what I would do as president for, no, ask me the question. It was so staged. So then he got brave, and they were saying, come on, Joe, you got to go. Come on, Joe. It's time for your meds. And he's like, hold on a minute. I know I'm going to be in trouble. Hold on. I'll take a question. And this is where I usually get in trouble. Yeah, because it ain't planned, right? So he takes a question. I don't know if you've seen it, Rich. It was crazy.
No, I
So
did.
he takes a question. He stumbles all through it. And then he does all right on the first off the cuff. But then the second question, I forget it was about. He's like, how do I say this? The most downtrodden people. He's trying not to like let his racism come out,
Right.
And how he's an elitist and talks down.
Are you kidding? He already
was struggling, bro.
He already let that cat out of the bag. Hey, if you don't vote for me, you're not black.
yeah. If you don't vote for me, you're not black. I mean, imagine saying that. Like, if you don't watch this show, you're not black. So
yeah, and the fact that they will, I don't know. Basically, we know what it comes down to. This is the whole thing of pandering to the black voting community, to get them out 4 years, to promise them, to say, hey, we care. We're going to go to bat for you. We're going to get this done for you. And Yeah, and then nothing, and then next 4 years get them back out again, and it
Right.
really, and that's why we've always said, and I say to the black community, please educate yourself on the programs that are out there, and are they really doing you really any service? I was watching a show, and they were talking about the colleges and the fact that the Asians had to have a higher SAT score and a higher
Oh
GPA
yeah.
than white males.
You
That's
want to talk about discrimination?
yeah,
I
and
mean, the Asians having to have like a way higher score to get in.
yeah, and the fact that um what was hold on, there was a statistic, and I won't be able to find it because I don't even know where the show was, but basically the African American community to get into the higher learning through affirmative action would need a 1524 on the SAT, and then it was like a 2.57 GPA average, which puts them in a 52nd percentile of their class. After the first year of law school, the black students that got there through the affirmative action were at the lower 10% of the lower 10% of the school, of the class that they were in. It does nothing for them to push them into the school that they are not actually able. And that's not to say that somebody doesn't enter into a school system with a lower standard of that, and entering can improve upon that. But
Right.
as a general principle, if you don't have it going in, you're not going to complete. You're not going to have the confidence because the statistics are just against you.
Right.
So
Well, that's
yeah,
like free college. You think they're gonna really try hard when they know they're not paying for it or their parents ain't paying for it? When it's just free, you think they're really gonna care? They don't care.
yeah, and that's another thing. The parents get upset because all of a sudden their child gets on academic probation or academic warning, and they're like, "Well, it must be the system that's against them at the school." No, your child was let in with subpar grades, okay, to fill a requirement, and
And
they're
a bad
not
work ethic.
and they're not able to. And this is like Harvard. As a matter of fact, Harvard just had that study, and the other thing that I think is really ironic is that the study also said that not only did they do as well, but they felt less comfortable with their fellow white students than than students of color that were going to smaller. I'm not going to say lower education, but it would be the difference between like Harvard and a
Community college.
yeah, like a
Yeah.
community college.
Sure.
That they felt more comfortable with white people because ultimately these students in higher learning will look at other students as a benchmark and weigh their self-worth as a student against them, and they're not able to compete. But I do find it funny that the Asian girls actually had to have a higher SAT score than white males, and that was with the affirmative action. So if
Wow.
anybody's discriminated against, it's the Asian people that are discriminated against. But anyway,
Absolutely. Especially when they're on the road driving.
yes.
I'm just kidding. Everybody's like, "Oh no." I'm just
There we go. There we go.
kidding. So, so that's the election. Biden versus Trump, and that's not going to go good. He was crumbling. He was just crumbling on the questions, and once after that, they were pretty much pulling him out. You remember the old Gong Show? I'm going to date myself.
Yes, I know
Where
the
if you were
guys.
horrible on stage, they would
Chuck
grab you
Berry.
with the big hook.
Yep.
Grab
Uh,
you with the hook and pull you off. That's what they basically were doing to Joe.
well,
It was
after he debates somebody, they're going to put him in an unknown comic hat and just let him walk around with a bag so no
oh
one even
yeah,
knows it's him.
with the shopping bag, right?
Yeah, remember his son? They had the little
brown
mini
paper
paper
bag.
bag. That was awesome.
Yeah, Chuggy baby, Chuggy baby.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Please,
So that's
God.
about it, man.
Somebody out there tell me that they remember the Gong Show besides that. Guess not.
Yeah, I don't know. Type one if you remember the Gong Show, and
Please.
we're not just old.
Not just us, yeah. But anyway, that's all. Anything?
Asian girls matter.
They
Somebody
do.
wrote Asian girls matter.
Absolutely. But
It's crazy. Do you ever see when there's a hashtag trending that Dorsey doesn't like? He allows the what is it called? The Asian bots. What do you call that? Somebody will help me in chat on Twitter. They'll the Korean dance videos or gifs.
I don't
forget
know.
what it's called. They'll put out these they'll put under something that has nothing to do with the hashtag, like say like it was
One and one.
hashtag reelect Trump, you know,
Right.
and that was trending. They'll put out these crazy Korean bot things underneath that hashtag and just flood it, and
Oh,
he
really?
allows it. Oh
Wow.
yeah, which first of all, you never could get anything conservative trending, but when it does, he allows these K-pop. Thank you. I knew my people are so good,
They
man.
are.
K-pop.
And we
Uh,
do have at least 3 people that remember the Gong Show.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, Chuck
If you
Barris,
want
Chucky
stupid
baby.
comedy, I encourage you to go to YouTube right now because we're
Yes.
not doing anything. Go to YouTube and pull up
Oh
the
yeah.
Gong Show. It's funny. It's up there with
So
Benny Hill. All right.
we'll see what's going on. Yeah, Benny Hill, love him. We'll see what's going on tonight. You know, I know Seattle. I was checking it out today. I was watching a couple of people, and they usually block you if you say anything that doesn't fit their narrative. There was some guy today, I never seen it before, going around, and his whole narrative was like anti-cop, and he's like, "Watch this. I'm gonna go around and just try to have a conversation with police officers, and watch how they act." Oh man, did that fail, bro? You know, like when CNN brings on the guest and it like totally fails.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's going up to police. I don't know if anybody caught it. He was the only one like live in Chop today, and he's like, "How you doing, sir?" Or "How you doing, man?" Like, "Hello, how are you?" And he's like, "I'm okay. How about you?" He's like, "Oh, I'm okay. It's a little hot, but hopefully, you know, it cools down." And then he's like, "Ah." So he'll move to the next one and move to. Finally, he comes up to a guy, and he's already having a conversation with the cop, and he's an older cop, and he's just over it. He's like, "I don't know why you want to have a dialogue. You're not going to change my you're not going to change your mind about us. I don't know, this is a waste of time talking to you." So this guy walks up and he's like, "Oh, can I ask you a question?" He's like, "Sure, why not?" You know, he's like, "Do you like your job?" He's like, "You see, what kind of question?" He's like, "I just want to know if you like your job." Well, then he goes around and he's crying about it the whole time. Meanwhile, every cop he goes up to, I forget the guy's name. I wish I would actually. Oh, it was something pig. It was like pig news or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he asked the guy, and he's like, "I don't know, what kind of question is that?" So then he was crying about it the whole time. The one cop out of the 50 that was so nice, it killed his narrative, destroyed it. And what a crap hole, um, you know, Seattle is, you know, over by
Yeah.
that Capitol Hill. What there's graffiti on everything.
Yep.
I mean, it is disgusting, man.
Yep.
And just, you know, and homeless and drug addicts. And I have nothing against homeless, and I pray for those that are addicted to drugs. But my God, it's like I would never, you know, I was gonna go to vacation there in Chop, but I just canceled it after that video. I told him that. I was
Oh,
joking around. I was like, I just canceled my flight after watching your video. Get
yes.
it?
Sad
And that's
stories
it.
there. Yeah, absolutely. There are sad stories there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's it, man. I appreciate you guys tuning in. This is us. There's Rich, the guy I keep saying. I wasn't making him up. There he is, a longtime friend. I know, you know, some people might say, you know, I do a show with my friend Rich. I'm not saying my partner Rich, and I have nothing against you if you're gay, but we're definitely not gay. Just putting that out there. I know Rich forever, and here he is. Here's me. For all the trolls, here I am. So come at me. Come on Zoom. I always offer the trolls. I don't know if you watch the show. Probably not. Yeah, better things to do, Rich, than watch my show.
No,
on
hey,
our show.
I got up this morning, woke up, went into my favorite reading room, sat down, and there you were, still alive. That's when I texted you and said, "Go to sleep." What
Thank
are you
God
doing?
I was still alive. It'd be like, oh.
Yeah, it's like,
Oh, you mean live? I
yeah,
got you.
6:30 in the morning. I was like, man.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So the trolls come on and they want to debate and all that, and they want to insult us and me. And I'm like, just hit me up on you know, direct message. I'll give you the Zoom number. For those of you who don't know what Zoom is, it's kind of like Skype. And you come on camera and we'll debate. And
Yeah.
and then they go away. I never hear from them again.
Yeah, we'll give you a Zoom number. Like I said, I like debating people if they have, you know, valid, not even valid points. If they have a point that they're sincere about, they actually have. So yeah, that's no problem.
Yes, I'm getting better at handling the trolls. Rich wants them to stay, and he wants us to debate. I really, after 4 years, you know, Rich is pretty new at this for about a year now.
Thank you, Brick
I
Hart,
have
by
no
the way.
patience for
Thank
them.
you.
What's that?
Brick Hart. Someone said hi to me.
Oh,
I don't do
he
this.
said, "Hi, Rich."
I don't do the social media thing. So when someone says hi, I say hi.
Yes, God bless the police. Thanks. I'm glad I found this show. Well, you won't be if you watch it long enough. I'm just kidding.
Oh, and by the way, so for anybody who has, if you've ever seen the show before, and if you haven't subscribed, think about that. But this was a new intro. Tell me if you like this intro better, or you like the other intro better.
All right, you're gonna hit him with it.
They've already seen it. It was at the beginning of the show.
Oh, all right.
If I put it up now, they'd be like, "What do you mean the show starts in 28 seconds or whatever it was?"
So yes, in Blue Wave, I'm telling you, our people. I'm so used to saying my people because Total News Network is my page, but I haven't been on that thing. That thing's so shadow banned. Our people, Rich, are so smart. Blue Wave just put up InfoPig. That's the guy I was talking about. He was the only one live today. He tried so hard to make police look bad, and they were so nice. And he's like, "Do you think I can get an escort into the park?" They're like, "Oh, hold on. I don't think so, but hold on. You can call this number." They were so helpful and nice. He's probably going to delete that video. I swear to God. Anyway, if you are on Periscope or DLive or Twitch, hi, Ma, go ahead and subscribe on YouTube because we know Dorsey owns Periscope and Twitter and does not like, the things we're saying right now.
We don't like him.
And yes, we do not. I trash him all the time on Total News Network. No wonder why I'm shadow banned. He's just going in on his platform and insulting him. And you wonder why you get 11 impressions. 40 people retweet my tweet, and I checked the impression and it says 11 people seen it.
Hey, Leroy 100 said he came in late, so I would just say count your blessings.
Yes,
the punishment didn't last as long for you as the other people who got here at the beginning of the show.
That's right.
So
that's right.
All right.
Oh, hold on. So I was saying, so if you're on Periscope or the other platforms, definitely subscribe on YouTube. Never know when this page is going to be, locked down. But go ahead, Rich, with the closing thing you say.
Hey, well, just want to say what is it? It is it's Thursday. Yeah, tomorrow's the 3rd. Next day is the 4th of July. Happy 4th of July to everybody.
Yes.
Keep it safe.
Freedom Day. And no, hold on. No, the Bikers for Trump and Hell's Angels and all of them are not going to Seattle to CHOP and going to rescue the people of CHOP. They've been saying that for a week. The Proud Boys ain't going there to take it over. I've been telling everybody, no patriot has it in their mind to go rescue a Democrat crap hole city.
Yeah.
They don't care. They're like, whatever. If you take over a city we love, you might show up with Bikers for Trump. They're not going there, so stop it. They're just not.
So I was just going to say happy 4th of July, and there's going to be a ton of 4th of July fireworks since there's no big fireworks shows going on in any of the major cities, I don't think, because of COVID. So just be careful with them M80s. They may not be as strong as they used to be back in the day. They can still take off a finger. So you could have been anywhere tonight. You chose to land here. We definitely appreciate it. Appreciate the comments. I have to wait till after the show when I could put it on a bigger screen and see it. But thanks for the ones I did see. And Jake, as usual, it's always a pleasure getting with you, my friend. We'll do it next week. Next week?
My people.
Next week?
Yes, for sure. Or maybe even in a couple of days. Yes, I'll probably be live tonight. If something's going down, I don't want to, just show just like 2 people screaming at the cops. We need like tear gas and we need all that,
All right. Well,
I hope it doesn't happen though. So.
Hope it doesn't. Hey, God bless. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you guys later. Okay.
I would like to begin with a poem in old-fashioned meter. Be good to us, and we will be good to you. Be good to us, and we will be good. I would like to begin with a poem in old-fashioned meter. Be good to us, and we will be good to you. Be good to us, and we will be good. Be good to us, and we will